I'm a new face in this seat, but we also have some new faces around the table, and one we're very happy to see come back, John Glassmeyer. He once upon a time was a member of this board. I'd also like to welcome our new colleagues to the board and thank them for agreeing to serve. They will be introduced by Monica in just a few moments. So thank you all for being here. And we also want to thank the Titans and Nissan Stadium for hosting us this morning. Having said that, for our new members and just for some context, Governor Lee back in 2023 signed what is known as the Tennessee Open Meetings Act, which requires governing bodies to reserve a public comment period to allow individuals the opportunity to comment on matters that are germane to the items on this agenda. The authority subsequently adopted a policy which places reasonable restrictions recommended by Metro Legal on the period for public comment. Part of our policy requires members of the public wishing to comment to sign up no later than 48 hours before our meeting. Having said that, today, no one has signed up for the public comments, so we'll move on to our next agenda item. You have the minutes of our February meeting in front of you in your packets. Are there any questions about our meetings, our minutes from the February meeting? Any comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Moving on. Next, we shall have our president's report, and so that's coming from Monica.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. You do have the agenda in your binders. Finance Committee did not meet this morning, and we don't have any action items, which is pretty unusual for us today. But we needed to go ahead and meet. We've got several updates, including a mandatory presentation from Metro Legal, a special events update from Brandon Little, our events coordinator, who you all don't get to hear from him much. So I think it's important for him to be able to come and share some of the things that he's been working on. And then we'll also have reports from our project management firm, Cumming Group, and of course, the Titans Nissan Stadium monthly report. Are there any questions about the agenda? Well, I would like to use the rest of my time to welcome and to introduce our new board members, and we're excited to have all of you here. John Glassmeyer, we are happy to welcome back. He did serve on the Sports Authority from 2019 through 2022. He's an IT project business manager with Health Springs, and he represents School Board District 3. He served on the Metro Arts Commission, as well as a number of other local nonprofit boards, including Nashville Cares, the Nashville Children's Theater, the Shakespeare Festival, and Friends of Shelby Park. And John also served in leadership for several rugby groups, and in 2016, he chaired an international rugby tournament with over 2,500 people. So, welcome back. Kendall Poole. Oh yeah, okay, we can do that. Kendall Poole, next to me, is the principal of K-Poole Strategic Relations, and he represents School Board District 4. He was appointed by Governor Davidson to be the director of the governor's Highway Safety Office in Tennessee, and then he continued in that same role under Governor Haslam. And in addition to 3 terms as national chair of the Governor's Highway Safety Association Board of Directors, he has served as chief deputy trustee for Metro Government, executive assistant and field director to U.S. Congressman Bob Clement, and as a consultant and marketing expert for a number of businesses and political campaigns. Thank you. And then we have Adam Sansevieri. Adam is the Senior Regional Managing Director at Alliance Bernstein and represents State Senate District 20. He's the founder and global head of Alliance Bernstein Sports and Entertainment Division. Adam is a philanthropist, an Ironman triathlete, former professional musician, Broadway producer, and venture capital investor. He currently sits on the board of TPAC and the Broadway Dreams Foundation. and he has served on the board of Oz Arts, Studio 10, Digital Media Advisory Council of Tennessee, the Heritage Foundation, and the Mayor's Business Advisory Council on Climate Change. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for doing this. And finally, we have Victor Nguyen. Victor is the executive pastor and minister of worship at the Temple Church, and he represents State Senate District 17. A graduate of Vanderbilt Law and Divinity Schools, Victor has served in the offices of the Vice President for Legal Affairs at Austin Peay State University and Meharry Medical College. He's also served as a consultant and teacher for the National Baptist Sunday School and Baptist Training Union Congress, and chaired the boards of the Tennessee Respite Coalition, You Have the Power, and Leadership Donaldson Hermitage. Thank you, Victor. So welcome to the Authority. We are really excited to serve with you. Are there any questions? If not, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Monica, and welcome to John, Kendall, Adam, and Victor. Each year, each year Metro requires all boards and commissions to go through ethics training. At this time, Metro Attorney Sam Keene will give the presentation for us. Sam?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to let me talk to you today. Is that all right? I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody today about everyone's favorite subject, ethics. I appreciate getting to meet the new members this morning. It's all very, very impressive resumes, and I'm glad that I get to assist in the work that you do because it's very important work. And it's stressful work, and the decisions that you make as a board, there's a lot of stakes involved. They are very important and impactful decisions that you make. And so it is important not only that you make the decisions, but that you make these decisions free from outside influence. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you all about today. I think you have a PowerPoint presentation that I've presented for this. I'm not sure if it's, am I able to? Okay, all right, yeah, good. First, just to introduce myself, I believe I've met all of you before, and I did have the chance to meet most of our new board members this morning, but my name is Sam Keene. I'm an attorney with Metro Legal. I work with Josh Thomas, and one of our clients, of course, is the Sports Authority. So I think it's important to talk a little bit about just kind of the relationship that the Sports Authority has with Metro Legal before we dive into this. The Department of Law is mandated by the Metro Charter to supervise all the legal work for the government and its respective boards and committees. While our primary client is the Metropolitan government, we do come to attend these meetings to provide on-the-spot advice and to represent you in any lawsuits or litigation that you might be involved in. But we also, in addition to providing on-the-spot advice, we are available to provide advice generally outside of meetings. And so if you ever have any legal questions at all, please feel free to reach out to either Josh or myself, and we'd be happy to research those questions and get back to you and hopefully provide competent and correct advice.
Sam, if I may, just to clarify, legal advice related to the Sports Authority, not your own personal matters or endeavors.
That is an important clarification. Okay, so we're going to talk about three types of ethical considerations today. First is conflicts of interest. Second, we'll talk about gifts and benefits. And third, we'll talk about transparency. It's simple enough, conflicts of interest, whenever they arise, we want to disclose them. And if the conflict is what we call a direct conflict of interest, more often than not, you would need to recuse yourself from any deliberation or voting involved in the decision. Sometimes you might have an indirect conflict of interest. In those cases, it might be okay to disclose the conflict, and you might not have to recuse yourself if you're still able to make a decision free from bias. Gifts and benefits, obviously the answer is pretty straightforward. Don't take them. And then on transparency, we want to try our best to be transparent and open and make sure that the public has a good understanding of the decisions that we're making and why we made those decisions. Okay, so bias, bias and conflicts, it's important to understand when you might have a bias and then what to do if you have a bias or a conflict. Like I mentioned, the two types of conflicts, direct and indirect. Basically, a conflict is any incompatibility between your private interest and your public or fiduciary duties. And so a direct conflict of interest occurs when you stand to materially benefit from the decision that you are influencing. And so examples include recommending your own business for a project or awarding a contract to a family member. Those are direct conflicts of interest. In those cases, you would need to disclose that you have a conflict of interest and recuse yourself. Indirect conflicts of interest occur when your personal interest or those of a close associate might influence your desire for a specific outcome. For instance, advocating for a friend's consulting company or voting on a proposal that benefits a company where a sibling is a relative. Regardless of whether or not you have a direct conflict of interest or an indirect conflict of interest, both can undermine the public's trust in your ability to make an unbiased decision. And so again, it's important that every conflict, no matter how small, be disclosed, and when appropriate, that you recuse yourself from a decision. Now, I do think that recusal should be a last resort, because at the end of the day, you do have a legal obligation to vote on every issue that comes before the meeting. And so, of course, we prefer that members vote and that they do so openly. But if necessary, you should recuse yourself. I kind of have like a script that I use or that I suggest that you use if you do have a conflict of interest. This is something that I would say if you had an indirect conflict of interest. I would say, Mr. Chair, before we begin discussion on this item, I wish to make a voluntary disclosure for the record. I have a personal relationship with the name of the organization who is a party to this matter. Specifically, I serve on a nonprofit board with their CEO, something like that. I have carefully reviewed this with legal counsel and evaluated my own impartiality. I can confirm that I have no direct or indirect financial interest in the outcome of this vote. I believe I can remain objective and base my decisions solely on the merits presented today. Therefore, I intend to participate in the discussion and vote. Okay, so that's something that you can say if you have an indirect conflict of interest. If you have a direct conflict of interest, you would say, Mr. Chair, I am recusing myself from this item due to a conflict of interest. To ensure the integrity of the process and avoid any appearance of impropriety, I will be leaving the dais in the room during the presentation, deliberation, and vote on this matter. I request that the minutes reflect my recusal and my departure from the meeting for this item. If you ever feel like you need to disclose a conflict of interest, please reach out to either Josh or I before, and then we can kind of provide you with the script, exactly what you need to say in order to make sure that the conflict is disclosed on the record and that you have taken the appropriate steps.
Sam, we have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little confused by the example that you just gave. Okay. If I were on a board with, say, Adolfo, would I have to disclose that before every vote that had anything to do with the Titans?
I think that you would, and Josh can probably answer this as well. If you are in a vote, if you are deliberating about an issue that concerns a matter where the entity benefiting from your vote is if you have a friendly relationship or professional relationship with somebody who would stand to materially benefit from the outcome of that decision, I would disclose that for the record. But you don't, that would not be a situation where I think you would have to recuse yourself if you feel like you're able to make a decision free from bias.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's correct. I mean, I think on the screen here, you see the appearance of impropriety in that example there that you provided. You certainly don't want things to seem like they're improper, so it may be best to disclose it on the record. But in terms of you having an obligation to recuse yourself, you obviously would not have to do that. I would argue, there is a strong argument that in the example that you provided, it is far removed since your relationship is just that you're on the board with someone else that works for an organization that may benefit. But again, it's the appearance of impropriety, and so if you don't want anything to reflect poorly on you, if it gets known in the public, it may be best just to disclose it on the record so it's out there.
That would never have occurred to me to be an indirect conflict of any way, so I guess I will disclose. I am on a board with Adolfo and Kyle, and would like that to be on the record, so.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you know, the legal standard is, would a reasonable person believe or, you know, have reason to believe that you might be influenced by the relationship that you have with the entity or the person who's the subject of the decision that you're voting on. The reasonable person standard, there's a whole body of law on what that entails. And so, but I think it's fair enough to say, you know, somebody might say because you're friendly with Adolfo, because you serve on a board with him, that you might be inclined to make decisions that stand to benefit him or the organization that he works for. Again, I don't think that it would, and so just disclosing it and moving forward is the best route.
And Dr. Hogan, I'll just add, particularly with the indirect conflicts, it's hard to come up with a bright line rule, so it can be very fact dependent and very fact specific. And so in those type of situations, that's why it is good to reach out to Sam or I to have those conversations.
Can that disclosure stand as a
It
standing
can be a
disclosure?
standing disclosure.
We can have a standing disclosure. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Mr. King, Director Pulley had a question.
In the example that we're discussing now, you use the words materially benefit. And I'm not sure how Dan materially benefits from any kind of stuff going on with serving on the same board as Adolfo or Kyle or things of that nature. So I'm not sure why the disclosure is necessary in that case.
Right. It's not just if you stand to materially benefit, that's a direct conflict of interest. If the person that you are associated with stands to materially benefit, that's an indirect conflict of interest.
I get
Now,
that.
And I understand what you're saying.
I'm
that
just not sure how serving on the board benefits Adolfo for any decisions that he's making. So,
right. If it benefits the entity that Adolfo is representing, you know, he's sitting here and he is representing an entity and asking you to vote in favor of something that would benefit the entity that he serves and represents, you know, it might stand to materially benefit the entity. I don't know if it would or not, but again, it is better to be overly cautious in these situations and just make the disclosure and move forward, I think.
Adolfo, you had no idea you were so controversial this morning.
Josh is free to correct me if I'm wrong about
No,
that.
I think that's correct. I think the takeaway from this is that it's the personal relationship influencing your decisions, the underlying concern. So you've got a personal relationship through the board relationship. You want to make it clear that that is not affecting the decision that you're making as a board member.
As long as I can rely on that disclosure as a standing disclosure, I don't have to do that every meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, but again, I think the point here is that it's not always clear, you know, what constitutes a conflict of interest and when disclosure might be required. And so certainly just, if for nothing else than just as a CYA, get in touch with us, let us know, and if something happens in the future, then you get to always say, well, Sam gave me bad advice. So happy to take the blame. Okay. Sorry. So now I'm just going to move forward to talk about gifts. Again, the general rule is don't take them. There are some, you know, minor exceptions to this rule. You know, for example, if you are attending an event, for example, where food or drinks are offered, you're allowed to take the food and the drinks as long as it's not more than $25. Or worth more than $25. Same with public service awards. For example, at our last meeting, We gave out some awards, but those awards would be considered of trifling value because you probably couldn't take them to, a pawnbroker and get any significant amount of money for them. Now, if the award is a Rolex watch or something like that, then those should be declined. But generally, just a plaque, something like that is perfectly fine. Same thing with events. I think this is the big one too. You are not allowed to take tickets to events. And that is obviously something that might come up from time to time, but generally just do not take them unless it's for a genuine, like fundraising activity. But again, even in those situations, if the access to the event would cost more than $100, then you should not accept access to the event without paying for it. Finally, I'm going to talk about the Tennessee Public Records Act. Again, this is also very important to the work that we do as the Sports Authority. We want to be as transparent as possible and make sure that the public understands the decisions that we make and the reason for making those. Transparency in our case also extends to records. So any document created in the scope of your official business is a public record and is potentially subject to the Tennessee Open Records Act. And so, text messages to another board member about official business could be considered an open record. That we generally recommend kind of creating a dedicated email address that you use specifically for Sports Authority business. That's the best way to deal with complying with the Open Records Act, in my opinion. There might be times where Josh and I send I'm sorry.
Now, I was going to say, thank you. Another thing, too, is we talk about emails that has been really helpful. If Valda sends an email out to all of you and you need to respond, then just respond directly to her as opposed to reply all. I think that is just a very helpful, practical thing to do. And then, of course, just to be mindful that, yes, they can call for your personal emails, and that has happened before where we've had to go through all of that. But the big thing is just making sure that if you want to communicate through me or through Valda, and we can share things with the other board members.
Legally, a meeting occurs when 2 or more board members come together and discuss official business. So if you run into somebody, Dan, if you run into Jad at Kroger, it's fine to exchange pleasantries, say hello. But if you say, what about that vote next week? What are you thinking about that? That's a no-go. Again, same thing with emails. The best way is to just not email with each other. And if you do need to email, or if you want to receive emails from Monica or Valda or anyone else, again, the recommendation is just to make your own dedicated email address. Did I mention litigation holds? That there might be situations where we issue a litigation hold. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, Director Pulley.
Can you tell me what the remedy is if Dan and I are sitting there talking about an action we're going to vote on next week on the sidewalk at Kroger, and it's overheard by someone who reports us?
If you violate the Open Meetings Act and there's a decision that's made by this board and we get sued, that decision will be invalidated by the court, and then we would have to start all over again.
Yep.
And I know we're short on time. I was just going to mention, you should have received an email that has a legal training manual that Metro Legal has provided for all boards and commissions. There's a lot of good information in there about your roles and responsibilities as board members. There may be some items in there that doesn't apply specifically to the Sports Authority given your roles and responsibilities, but I would highly encourage you all to review that and reach out to any questions. And for the new board members, when we do your orientation, we'll also cover some of these matters in detail at that time.
I think that just about wraps it up. Again, sort of, there's a PowerPoint there. It kind of has the best practices. There's also I created an ethics cheat sheet, something that you can refer to. But if you take anything away from this at all, it's if anything comes up at all that you are concerned about and that might, raise an issue, please reach out to me or Josh. That's the most important thing to take away. So.
Thank you, Sam. Are there any other additional questions for Sam or Joshua? There being none, that's great information. And I would underscore exactly what Sam said. I think the question is if there's any question in your mind about an ethical decision that you guys have, give them a call. I mean, they're very approachable. They're straightforward. They're going to be able to discern what is probably the right way to think about it. I mean, I had a conflict last week that I had to recuse myself from just because I had a previous client that I had represented 10 years ago. So, I mean, I view that as an indirect conflict because it really wasn't going to benefit me. But, I mean, still, I needed to disclose it. We disclosed it. Was it last month? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I have no idea. But anyway, time does fly. But anyways, I mean, and I think it's just when in doubt, don't. And so very good information. So thank you both. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Joshua, for keeping us compliant. That being said, we'll move on to agenda item number 6. Which we have a special events update. And Brandon Little, our special events coordinator, will kick it off for us and let us know what's going on. So there you go, Brandon.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
First, I just want to introduce myself. I don't think I've made the round this morning. I apologize for that. My name is Brandon Little. I'm the special events coordinator here on your Sports Authority staff. Today, I will have 3 different items we'll talk about. The first one is going to be the Sports Authority Industry Playbook, which is a high school program that we'll discuss here in just a second. After that, we will get to the Special Olympics of Tennessee report, which will touch on polar plunge and one exciting announcement we're going to dive into a little bit deeper. It's out there publicly, but I just want to invite them to kind of reflect on this year's polar plunge and also touch on this exciting piece. Don't want to steal their thunder. And then finally, I'll come back and we'll talk about Rock and Roll Marathon, which is an annual large-scale event that affects all areas of the downtown core and extends out into other communities as well here in Nashville. So without further ado, I also would like to welcome the new board members. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, and we'll go ahead and dive into the industry playbook. So to my right here is Debbie Crosby. She's with Metro Schools. She's the career-based learning coordinator. And she and I have been working on something, in addition to our Sports Authority staff who've supported this greatly. We've been working on a school program. And where this kind of originated over the past, 3, 4, before my time for sure, we've been receiving a lot of requests from students of all ages, primarily, high school, college age, looking for internships, opportunities to get involved with what we do, with what our facility partners do, and just really trying to get that step in the door, right? And I think that's a common theme across the sport management realm and business in sports and entertainment. You're just trying to get your foot in the door, just trying to kick that off. So with that, we kind of took a step back and realized, we're a small staff. We find ourselves wearing so many different hats, and while an internship surely could be of value, we found that our facility partners do such a great job with what they do in the internship area. And we decided let's take a closer look at high school students, specifically junior, seniors, those who are really looking to see what their next step is in terms of education or trade or what that may look like for their career. So we connected with Debbie, who has already been working in this space, connecting students with various industry leaders, and so we had some existing infrastructure there, which has been very helpful. So with that, we have crafted what we call the Sports Authority Industry Playbook, which is a school program designed and developed in partnership with our facility partners. And we essentially want to give them an inside look at the business of sports and entertainment here in Music City and really make those opportunities feel more tangible, right? So Debbie has been just incredible in helping us kind of navigate this and take a look at the academy programs within the Metro Schools system. And we, back in January, some of you probably remember, we soft launched this. Well, we officially launched this on February 26th at Bridgestone Arena. The Nashville Predators hosted this program where we brought in students from Antioch High School in the Sport and Tourism, Hospitality and Tourism Management Academy pathway. So we welcome 17 students. We're in a pilot year, so we're starting small and growing the program. But it was an awesome opportunity. We really want to thank the Preds for hosting this one. And essentially what this was students arrived in the morning and they got a tour of all of the areas in the arena. And this happened to be a game day, so the energy was already high. People were in the building. Morning skate was going on. It was great. Nash was there. And actually, let me click the next one here. This is just a snapshot, some highlights there. But behind tab 6 is like a full gallery if you'd like to view that. But there were several learning sessions involved after the tour that touched on event booking and management, game presentation, so all the media, the activities during, breaks and intermissions, things like that, ticket sales, corporate partnerships, sponsorships, and then also the guider program, which the Preds will surely talk about next month when we go to their place, that touches on community programming and outreach. So we felt like it was a great start to this pilot program, and I want to kick it over to Debbie because she does a better job at explaining from the MMPS perspective, kind of what this means and kind of how it's impacted the students.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. What it allows our students in Metro schools to do is take what they're learning in the classroom and then to apply it out into the real world. With our students, I don't know if you're aware of the demographics in our school systems here in the public schools. You should know that the demographics of the schools do not necessarily match the demographics of the city. So I think what our students see in their classroom is definitely not reflective of what's going on. So to provide them with the opportunity to visit the facilities in their city and learn new things, it's tremendous. They know. I should move it over, sorry. They should really, for them to be able to go into a facility and understand what happens with the Nashville Predators. They think it's a hockey team that plays there. They're motivated by sports, but what they don't see are all the other jobs and all the other things that happen. And in a classroom, you can teach them so much, but until they can go into a space, until they can see it, they can smell it, they can feel it, they don't understand it. So working with Brandon and the Sports Authority is allowing our students that opportunity to get out of their normal communities and to see what's going on in the bigger city. And once again, since, the demographics of our students, they don't always have the means to visit these facilities. Our families work really hard just to make ends meet. So providing this opportunity during the school day is expanding their horizons and making them feel more of a part of what they see. They drive by Bridgestone, or can I announce what's possibly in the works for coming up? And they drive by. Go ahead. I didn't want to bust your.
No, you got it. It's all you.
So we're also planning an event with Geodis, and that's in South Nashville. So we're trying to align. Our kids love sports. We have a huge population in South Nashville that's really into soccer. And we also have an agriculture pathway at Glencliff High School. They have a natural turf field at Geodis, a great place to look at turf management. So we're trying to arrange that coming up in April. We're past February, but coming up in April. So just a great event. And the kids that are by there, so this is our pre-pilot year, moving into pilot year next year, and just the enthusiasm and being able to expose our students to not only the sports piece, but everything else that goes along with it is just an amazing opportunity for Nashville and our students that we're educating every day. So thank you, guys.
Ms. Crosby, we do have one question from the floor.
Yes.
First of all, I was not aware of this. I applaud you guys for this. This is fantastic. And 17 students is a hell of a start, right? That's significant interest. I'm curious, is the intention to potentially develop this into a full-blown academy at some point, or is that not?
So 12 of the zone high schools are broken down into wall-to-wall career academies, and within those academies, we have pathways. So we try to align their experiences with the different venues with what they're already studying. So the students were in hospitality and event planning from Antioch, and the people from the Predators, they actually aligned the experiences through the day with what they would experience if they were an event planner in the real world. So what it takes to plan those events. So they can make those experiences, align with what they're already studying, which is amazing for the students.
I'll join in here. To touch on that a little bit more, and sorry, I left that off. This truly is, it's very broad in some sense, but it's also very specific at the same time. So while this one was focused on event planning and management, that's a very broad term. But as Debbie mentioned, maybe we get into sports turf management. Maybe there's an opportunity to, while we may be looking at the broader event management, the venue, what goes on there, whether it's a concert, a game, something like that. But we also kind of pick, okay, let's go look at the field and talk a little bit more on that because there's an interest in horticulture or something like that. Our goal, and I'll soft launch this too, but we're involved in a lot of projects. We have a lot of connections. Maybe this leaks into some construction, architecture, engineering. We've got a lot of good partners in that space. So I'll touch more on that when we have a plan, but for now, we're really excited about this, and I really want to highlight the importance of having programming during the school day, because the transportation of students using a school bus is far easier than coordinating something on a weekend or something like that. It really tears down those barriers. This is something that thankfully our partners have been incredibly supportive of, and we've got a good start in getting students there during the day, back to school in time to get on a bus and go home. So the overall time frame was about 3.5, 4 hours. So we feel this is a great start. Finally, I direct you here. Nash just happened to be there during morning skate, and that was just an awesome surprise for the students. You can see there just the smiles and taking some selfies there. So. Yes, Victoria.
I know this is the pilot year, but what is the duration of the internship? Like, how often do you meet with these students?
So this is sort of a substitute. While this is call it a half-day experience, we hope to kind of impact more academies as we go along versus a cohort or an internship or something like that. So really, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get out of class, but also still touch on what you're learning in class, but make it more tangible, look at things that are actually going on that day in those spaces, and hear from professionals working in their community directly. We know a lot goes on in these venues, but this gives them a day to go interact with those professionals and hear directly from them what they do, how they got there, and kind of hopefully we spark some interest and really start building a pipeline for students that are interested in sport management. But not only sport management, maybe it's finance, maybe it's advertising, it's ticket sales, operations. I don't know if you know this, but Bridgestone Arena flips back and forth from concert to hockey to concert hockey, CMAs, like all of this happens. So there's conversion teams involved in that in the operations space. So just a lot of opportunity. I'm taking up a lot of time. I apologize. We're excited.
Great program. I'm really excited to hear about it. My question is it a cap for the students that you all will allow into this program? And is it a certain criteria, like grade point average, things like that? Or is it, if they're in the academy, they can automatically just join this program?
So with this being a pilot year, we are carefully curating this, I'll say. Mm-hmm. So we're working with Debbie and the academies directly to identify specific classes even. That makes sense for this. So like Debbie mentioned, maybe for the Geodis Park, we're touching on something that involves the horticulture field, but also more interest in operations space. So we do have kind of a cap for the venues. They may say, hey, we can take 20 or 30 students, and also instructors, support staff. So Debbie and myself, Valda, Monica, we all got to kind of come in that morning and see what was going on. And then we also had 2 instructors that were chaperones for this as well. So shout out Antoine and Arcente, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and thanks again to the Preds. This has been great. Yes. Any other questions? Yes,
Hey,
sir.
I just want to say this is how you transform Nashville, man. So thank you. Like, I'm excited. You all are going about it the right way. I love the pace, and I love the heart and intention behind it. So kudos.
And shout out to you all. I've heard from a couple of you already about, like, how can I support? We're so interested in this. Like, if there's anything we can do to support you. And I've really enjoyed that with my time with the Sports Authority so far. So keep up the energy. Let's go. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and thank you, Debbie, once again. All right. Again, apologies on the time. We're very excited about this. We're also very excited about our next point here, the Special Olympics of Tennessee. I would like to invite Justin and Carly up to the presenters table. I'll just give just a quick overview here. So here at Nissan Stadium in the parking lots, we have hosted some interesting events over the years, all kinds of running events. We've had inquiries on circuses and barbecue contests, and just we had the Grand Prix here, a few years ago. So very dynamic space. Of course, we've got a lot of development on the horizon, but we'd like to take this opportunity to continue spotlighting some of the important civic events and special events that have taken place on this site, and especially the Polar Plunge, which is one of my more favorite events. A lot of costumes involved, and I don't want to steal your thunder here, so I'll go ahead and pass it on to Carly and Justin to introduce themselves and kind of get started, and I will take a step back. Thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Justin Bradford. I'm the Vice President of Brand Strategy and Communications for Special Mix Tennessee.
And I am Carly Mesh. I'm the Development Operations Manager, and I plan and execute all of our fundraising events. And we'd like to share a quick highlight video with you guys.
There we go.
So just of note, the Kansas City Chiefs fan was traveling to polar plunges all across the country. That was his big thing, is that he wanted to participate because he was challenged by his friends. So we allowed him to participate. But as you can see, our Music City Polar Plunge is one of our signature fundraising events. It's through partnerships with so many community organizations, corporations. You saw Chief Drake there. It was great to have him plunging with members of the THP. So it's just a great coordination there. We have a organization within Special Olympics called the Torch Run, and it is something that our first responders are part of to fundraise and bring awareness for Special Olympics as well, and just another one of those opportunities for them to create more togetherness within our community. You saw plenty of corporations as well too, but it's one of our signature events that we've had in the parking lot there now for 11 years. So it's been a great partnership, and we can't wait to see it continue to grow with new construction here as well too, because it creates, as you see, a perfect backdrop for photos and videos. But this year we raised over $100,000 through Music City Polar Plunge, over 250 plungers. It was a very warm day. As you saw, we had some some ice getting poured in there just for the optics of it, because it was in the upper 60s, I believe, that day, 75 that day. So it was a really warm day, whereas last year it was in the 30s. So you never know what we're going to get here in Nashville, but it is more about the opportunity to plunge, to fundraise, to raise awareness. And that's what our plungers are doing, is raising awareness of what we do at Special Olympics, which is to provide sports training, opportunities, competition, free health screenings, and leadership opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And the money that we raise through events like that is what that goes to support. As you see, we have different organizations, corporate as well. So Polar Plunge, one of our biggest events. We have plenty across the state, so not just in Nashville, but we have ones all across the state in Memphis, Knoxville, Johnson City, Union City, Chattanooga, Lebanon, Cheatham County. So it is one of those things where people are going to Polar Plunges all across. It is a Special Olympics thing. So Polar Plunges originated with Special Olympics, and we're very proud of that opportunity that we continue to have here. And so thank you for always being our host here at Nissan Stadium. And then the next thing that we wanted to talk about, while we have some time, is 2034 USA Games. And some of you may be already aware, because it is very much public, but we are going to be having, thank you. The 2034 Special Olympics USA Games is a quadrennial event with Special Olympics, so it is just like the Olympics, where it's every 4 years and cities have to bid on hosting this event. Part of the process took a lot of partnership to make sure this bid was happening, because it is a week-long takeover of a city. One of the first of its kind that Nashville is going to be hosting. We worked very closely with the CVC, as you can imagine, but also with endorsements from the Tennessee State Legislature, the Metro Council, plenty of other corporate partners as well, working closely with the mayor too. So it took a lot of partnership to make this bid happen. A site visit committee came in composed of Special Olympics athletes, staff members, and other organizations within Special Olympics to visit all of our potential venues. For instance, opening ceremonies could take place at Bridgestone Arena or at the new Nissan Stadium, so lots of potential there. Vanderbilt University will be the main host for our athletes, over 4,000 of them coming from across the country to compete. And then also having events at Music City Center. Other venues could include Centennial Park, Geodis Park, plenty of opportunities that'll be decided in the next 8 years as we prepare for this major event. But as you can see, it's just going to be something really major. This upcoming summer, it'll be in Minnesota, at the University of Minnesota, and in 2030, it'll be in Cleveland, but potential economic impact of $100 million. So very huge for the city of Nashville to host a big event like this, but just to focus on inclusion and to show that sport is a way that people can come together. Like I said, over 4,000 Special Olympics athletes from across the country. That includes potential invitations to Caribbean and Canada as well too, depending if they do want to make that travel. Over 10,000 volunteers. So again, way to get the community involved, over 100,000 spectators coming, and just lots of money coming into the city that way. And as broadcast, the partners for Special Olympics are ABC and ESPN. So it puts the national spotlight, not just on Special Olympics, but it'll put a spotlight on the city of Nashville. We're working very closely, obviously, with the mayor's office, with the task force as well, just to make sure that the city of Nashville is ready to host people with disabilities, to make sure that sidewalks are in good condition, that crosswalks have enough time. So we're thankful that we actually do have time, and not just 3 years to put it together, but we do have those 8 years to put it together. But obviously we'll be leaning on the entire sports community just to make sure it's going to be an incredible event. So yeah.
Thank you once again, Justin and Carly. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, finally, we have the Rock and Roll Running Series. So this is not a new event by any means. Last year, some of you may recall, we kind of did the same thing here. We had a spotlight. I think we were First Horizon Park, maybe that one. Anyway, we highlighted their 25 years here in Nashville, with Nissan Stadium being the finish line for that event on Saturday, which is the 5K, the 10K, the half, the full marathon. And as well as the start and finish line of the dog race, the kids race on that following Sunday. So we had that spotlight last year for 25 years, so this is the 26th year. We just want to kind of shout out and kind of provide a video here kind of highlighting that event. I'm sure all of you are aware of this event, but just want to kind of provide that update as we are getting ready to host them again on April 25th and 26th, Saturday, Sunday. And something that has changed these last few years with, again, all of the dynamic parking space, that's changing. So these last few years, instead of charging rent, we've granted 2 civic event days that are allowed in our lease here at the stadium. So they've been great partners, and this is, of course, something that touches a lot of areas in Nashville. So go ahead and play the video.
Let the truth be heard. Come on, let out a shout. Lift up your voice. Come on and sing it out. Let the truth be heard. Come on, let out a shout. Lift up your voice. Come on and sing it out. Sing it
All right. Any questions on the marathon that's upcoming? No? If not, thank you so much for allowing me to come up here and speak and kind of give an overview of what we've been working on and some of the things we're excited for. And this won't be the last time you see me. So.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Are there any final questions for Brandon or for any of our other presenters? If not, I just thank you so much, Mr. Little. You're doing a great job. I just want to express that. And thank you to Ms. Crosby, as well as to Mr. Bradford and Ms. Mish with Special Olympics. So with that, we'll move on to item number 7. And at this time, the team from Cumming Group will give their project management report. Thank you guys for being here. And I would just ask that you introduce yourselves before you start, please.
Absolutely. Good morning and welcome new members. It's a great board and we welcome you to the continued good works of this board. So my name is Heather Hill. I am with Cumming Group. We are an owner's rep firm. So we do a few things for you, but we're going to start with the first thing, which is we are your eyes and ears on the new Nissan Stadium project. So we work closely with the Titans, their design team, their project managers, the contractors, to ensure that the building that you all approved, the budget you all approved, the schedule that was approved, that we're maintaining all of those things. And that's kind of our role. I'm going to turn it over to Karzan to introduce himself. He is our project lead, sitting every day over at the new stadium watching the progress.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the new board members. Look forward to also working with you all and look forward to the impact you guys are going to have on this body as well. Like Heather mentioned, my name is Karzan Muhammad Ali. I'm a senior project manager on the Titans job. And eyes and ears is exactly how we describe our role for the Sports Authority with all those parties that she mentioned, the Titans, the contractor. There's a lot of different activities that we do. We're focused on quality. We work with the construction team and the Titans to identify and correct any quality issues or concerns that arise on the project. I will say that the quality culture on the job is very high. They take a great deal of pride with the building that they're constructing out there. Another thing that we do for the Titans and for the Sports Authority as well, we are involved in the scheduling exercises in terms of reporting. So we walk the site on a weekly basis. We provide feedback on activities that may be ahead, activities that may be behind, and kind of keeping a pulse on that as we near our completion date of Q1 2027. So we have a team there, a dedicated scheduling team for this job specifically. In addition to that, it's kind of in our rear view mirror at this point, but we were also included in the review of buyout packages. So from your foundations all the way up to your interior finishes, we provided review and comments on those packages as they were being bought out. I believe we only have one more package that's kind of outstanding right now, which is the appliances. So the building is essentially bought out. We're about 70% billed through the project. So really a lot of progress has been made in these 2 years. Another aspect of our roles and responsibilities, we work with the BAO office and the Titans to monitor the DBE progress and the dollars that are being accounted for that goal of 25%. And to date, we still believe that we are going to hit that 25% DBE dollar amount that we initially had set out to do. So a lot of confidence in that area. And one of the other things that we do with the East Bank team and their project management team, there's obviously the Titans Stadium, which is the main project, but there's a lot of smaller projects going on around the building, whether it's the pump station, 2nd Street, Interstate Drive. All those projects have a direct impact on the stadium, and we try to facilitate, coordinate, and obviously keep you all informed about the progress and any decisions that arise from those projects. So obviously we're here if there's anything you all, especially the new board members, would like some insight on. We're happy to fill you guys in where there may be any voids.
Any questions for the Titans piece? So the other, there's a couple more smaller items. I say smaller, but very, very important items that we are working with the Sounds on over at First Horizon Park. Jacob Murphy is a project manager in our office here in Nashville and has been working directly with them. And I'll let him speak about those two projects.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to all the new board members. Look forward to working with you. So the first project over at First Horizon Park is the facility assessment. We awarded Venue Solutions Group back in January for the facility assessment. They finished in February 19th was when all the consultants went and kind of just dug everything up on the ballpark, looked at everything, and they had till March 20th to get all their data over to Venue Solutions Group, and they're compiling it all. And hopefully by early April, they're going to have a rough draft over to us, and then Venue Solutions Group will actually be here the April 16th board meeting to present kind of a preliminary overview of everything. And then the goal is late April to have the full report together. And then the second project we're working on is the scoreboard project over at First Horizon Park. Really excited about this one. We awarded Uber Displays back last month for not to exceed $2.6 million. That includes the main scoreboard, left field scoreboard, and the fascia, the scoreboard behind home plate. It also includes some updates to the control room. That piece is what we're working on. We're also working on the contract, but that piece, Take One and Claire, they've already done work in that room, so we're talking with them and trying to kind of put together the best package for the updates for the money we have. Like I said, 2.6, not to exceed 2.6 million.
Yeah, so the goal is to have a contract before this body in April with kind of the plan B being May. All of that works in coordination with Uber Displays. Obviously, we are all got next spring as baseball starts in 2027 circled on our calendars, and we want to make sure all of the displays and boards are up and running. So that is what we're diligently working on to bring back to this body to continue to move it forward.
Thank you. Any other questions for Heather Hill and team? There being none. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. And now we'll move on to agenda item number 8. And with that, we have Nissan Stadium and the Titans with their host report and monthly progress report. As I asked with Coming Group, please introduce yourself and when you address the board. So with that, thank you, Mr. Nihill.
Good morning. Bert Nihill. Everyone's resumes are so impressive. I will say, Mr. Sensitivity,
Excuse me.
in terms of diversity.
Excuse me, Bart, can you turn, thank you. We couldn't hear you. Red light.
There it is, it's on. In terms of the diversity of experience, I was waiting for astronaut at the end of your experience. Again, it's an honor to be here this morning. I want to share some updates about the team generally, and then several of my colleagues will come up and share some more specifics about things that we're working on relevant to this board. I apologize in advance. After I speak, I'm going to have to run out to another speaking engagement, but I know what's coming, and you're all in for a treat. I'm going to start with a quick video. So that video released 2 weeks ago today. We spent a lot of time on the concept of the video because this was a step back moment for our organization and just recognizing certainly what we do on the field and through our stadium facility is the core of what we do. But I think I don't just speak for the football team in this city, but I'm sure it's the hockey team and the soccer team and the baseball team as well. It's just an honor to be a part of people's lives. And as we're taking a step back, as we're looking ahead to a new stadium, and as the video ends with a new brand and modified uniforms, we wanted to really honor our first quarter century here in Nashville. And it's been really humbling to see the response from our fans and others that have just taken that same opportunity to step back and reflect on what this team has meant to their families. And it's just an honor to be a part of people's lives. So thank you for your support and allowing us to do this. These are our new uniforms, which will be taking the field in 2026. I won't go through every feature, but we spent a lot of time trying to bring the best of who we've always been as an organization into a uniform and a brand that is simple and classic and also does as good of a job as we can to reflect the city and the state that we're proud to represent. So you see things like Tennessee actually reflected on the chest of the away jerseys and 3 stars throughout, a 6-string stripe to update a stripe that's always been a part of our brand, but to do it in a way that gives a subtle nod to being a part of Music City. I'm particularly fond of the "we" that is actually just on the inside of the collar. It's something that was inspired by the football team. It's the last thing players will see before they put on their jerseys and go out to the field. It's this idea of the team is about we over me, and that's certainly true of the team and what's about to happen as they take the field. But I think increasingly our organization and our players feel that when they take the field, they represent more than even just themselves and their own families and the team itself, but they represent the broader community. And we've got a video at the end to reflect that as well. We actually made the announcement on March 12th at an event at the Pinnacle. Several thousand of our friends joined us there. It was a really well done event by our production team. There was a 50-piece orchestra because why not have a 50-piece orchestra? There's Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward coming out to reveal the jersey for the first time. It was a great celebration having players from the current team. We had a bundle of new free agents that just happened to be in town that joined the event, and we brought alumni back from the last 25 years to be a part of this event. Eddie George actually did an introductory monologue just before the jerseys were revealed. It was a great celebration of the team and where we've been and where we're going in our next chapter. Fans received it well, especially this young man. And again, the response has really been overwhelming to have worked on something for a long time as an organization and to put it out there and to see the response from fans be what we were hoping it would be, probably exceeding what we would hope it would be, that they would see themselves in this team and what we're trying to do. It's just been great. Importantly, on the field, we have a new head coach. Robert Saleh joins us, most recently from the San Francisco 49ers, where he was defensive coordinator, has been head coach of the New York Jets before that. If you look at about the last 10 years of the NFL, his defenses have typically been in the top 5. He's one of those wizards at defensive philosophy, but he's also an incredible leader and came highly recommended. We feel very lucky to have him coaching the team coming up this fall. He will be joined by 19 new players, at least, so far. Free agency's only been open for a couple weeks, and we brought in 19 players from across the league, a lot of them on defense, a lot of them whom Robert has been familiar with. So it's an exciting time and a refreshing time, not just for the team and our brand, but also for the football team itself. Speaking of refreshment, since we're all getting new business cards anyway, with the new brand, it works out perfectly that our training facility now goes by a new name. We're pleased to report our new partnership with Vanderbilt Health. Our practice facility will now be known as Vanderbilt Health Football Center. And as one final piece, I'd like to show this video.
3, 2, 1.
Today, we are here with Habitat for Humanity, and we partnered with them about a year ago to use some of our dollars through the Home Field Initiative, which is a part of our One Community Pillar, to be able to provide over 12 families with homes.
It is instrumental for a team like the Titans to be engaged with us at these moments as these families are pursuing their dream of homeownership. You can see that this community truly comes together to make this change happen.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for turning a dream into reality for our family. We carry your kindness with us every day we live in this home. Thank you.
Home field advantage is simply about securing the home field, which is our city and our communities, for the next generation of Titans, the everyday people who look like you and me. Today, we also have a special friend with us. We have Mr. Jeffrey Simmons from the Tennessee Titans who's here.
Being from a small town in Macon, Mississippi, and bouncing from home to home, you know, I know what it felt like to not be stable. So to be able to have a stable home, you know, that's what hit home. I'm kind of getting emotional right now.
Oh my God, all right, take your time. Take your time.
I'm gonna do a year to pay your rent for a year.
What? Oh, praise the Lord. Thank you, Lord.
I know what it feel like. My mom raised 5 kids, and she did it alone. No help. You guys gave Habitat for Humanity a reason to give you guys a home. That's my gift to you guys, and you know, congratulations once again.
It's all about opportunity, it's all about access, and it's all about making sure that we are doing things for individuals that then go on to have this ripple effect for so many of their family members and generations to come after.
So we are. That's we over me in action. And it would have been probably 4 or 5 years ago, we sat here in front of this board and talked about One Community and what our vision would be to just make this a better place to live through the platforms we have, through the investments we can make in the community. Home Field Advantage was one of those plans, and we committed $5 million to help with housing initiatives in the city, and we're just getting underway. $5 million feels like a big number, but it is just a number, and you see a video like that, and you see people. You see our neighbors that are actually being impacted, and they're just one of a few. As a quick backstory to Jeffrey Simmons and that video, he just heard that we were doing it. You know, we frequently will ask our players to show up at something and offer their time, and they're always happy to do it. Nobody asked Jeffrey. He heard about this, and he just showed up and spontaneously offered to pay 1 year of the mortgage for the family he was meeting with. And so, you know, full circle back to that video. It's just an honor. Thank you for helping to make these facilities a reality, which help make these teams a reality, because while it's really, really fun to follow a sports team, this matters to people in the city, and we're honored to be a part of that, and thank you for your help to make that happen. With that, I will turn it over to Kellen DeCourcy to talk about our new home that is under construction.
Good morning, board members. Welcome to the new members. Excited to meet you and look forward to working with you. I am Kellen DeCourcy, project executive with the Tennessee Titans. And so starting in with some construction updates, real briefly, I wanted to touch base on something that's pretty fresh. 1 month ago, you approved the Titans to be involved with the Siegenthaler Bridge connector. And so we're moving from a small crawl to a fast sprint on this. Looking forward to keep you updated on those developments as they continue. We're in the early stages of picking the design back up from what was already started, and then also working on the schedule, and then fine-tuning the schedule, and then ultimately looking to get a construction manager on board with an RFP forthcoming. So we will continue to keep you updated. But moving into some of the other projects, starting off here with 2nd Street, another aerial shot to show you the update. Not a lot here to see exactly, other than we've gotten our underground utilities installed. We're currently working on getting the light poles bases set, so you can kind of see where that's starting to take shape and where that new roadway will take place to the west of the new Nissan Stadium. We are still on track for the hardscaping and that roadway to be open all the way up to where the southeast ramp of the existing Nissan Stadium is there in the top left corner. So we're going to continue to show you some more exciting finish updates as that develops. The pump station is also well underway. This is another aerial shot here showing the progress of the actual pump station itself. That facility is moving along well as far as getting the pump house and facility with equipment and electrical gear is moving along. This is also the time where I say pardon our dust, because a portion of this project is also causing a little bit of a hiccup along Russell Street. That is why Russell Street is currently closed, because we're working on making the connection from this pump station over to the new stadium and to the existing force main. So that work started about a month ago and should be wrapping up around June, early July. So the pump station is in good shape and moving along well, working with our partners at Metro Water on this as a collaboration project, and still targeting the end of the year for completion. And now we'll jump right into the new Nissan Stadium. I wanted to start off real quick. I would be remiss not to celebrate something, a major milestone, and something that I'm really proud of is earlier this month we celebrated Women in Construction Week on the project. I'm just really excited about having women involved in the project, looking for ways to get women more involved in construction and design. I owe my career path to my mom, who actually got me interested in design and construction. So ultimately, this was an amazing partnership with the TBA, the project, and NAWIC, which is National Association of Women in Construction. So we had a really amazing full day celebration, seminars, and a luncheon where we hosted hundreds of the women that work on this project site, teaching them about new opportunities in construction and providing access to resources they might not know are available to them. Interesting facts to note, NAWIC is a national association and Nashville is the largest chapter. And then also our project represents about 24% of the workforce is with women, while the national average is 18%. So really exciting to share. But jumping into the actual progress on construction here, we've been showing this aerial image almost every month, but one of the great updates here to show you is that we are making significant progress on the enclosure of the building. You'll see we're actually almost 100% complete on the upper roof membrane, which is the white membrane circling around the ETFE compression ring. So we are working on getting the building watertight. This image here, an aerial image from the northeast corner looking to the southwest, actually shows the significant progress that TBA and the construction partners have been making on getting the building enclosed. By and large, we are almost weather tight on the exterior. The curtain wall glazing system, or the windows, are almost complete here. They were wrapping up on this east end of the building. We are installing numerous different materials on the exterior facade. Obviously, it speaks to the great materiality of the building. We have wood look metal panels, stone cladding material, and black and white metal paneling and the glazing. So that's going to continue on for many more months, but by and large, we have the building enclosed. And then also you'll see a glimpse inside that ring beam there. You'll see a kind of a white band in the seating bowl. That's actually another step that the TBA team has made to allow the building to be watertight, is kind of what we're calling a boat wrap, or visqueen enclosure, to make sure that rain and Mother Nature are staying outside of the concourses and where we're progressing the finishes. This is another quick highlight. I know we had a great little video for you all last month about the ETFE ring beam, ETFE roof system. Essentially, this is about an 11 to 10 month journey to get this from start to finish, fully enclose the ETFE cables lifted and the ETFE pillows installed. We are right here at about the halfway point. There's been a lot of progress in basically getting the cables set and ready. And so what you're starting to see is really exciting. The cables are actually being lifted up to the ring beam. You see that here in the left-hand photo. Those cables that are extremely heavy, 3 inches in diameter, 40 pounds per lineal foot, are being hoisted by cranes and crews through the ring beam ports up at the top of the roof. And on the backside, you'll see there's these large hydraulic jacks, thus the blue piece of equipment you see here that will ultimately pull those cables and lift them up into place. Our current timeline on the big lift, which we'll be excited to update you on, is targeted for early May. And then again, it's a beehive of activity. John will speak to some of the labor statistics, but we are over 2,000 workers on site daily. But again, so there are workers at every corner of the building and every level of the building, and interior finishes are progressing. Here on the left-hand side, you'll see this is one of our main entry points for our fans. This is some wood metal paneling that's starting to go in. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see that we have all of our 44 escalators are all installed, and then we are working with the elevator and escalator manufacturer to start actually spinning those and getting them commissioned. And then I mentioned the interior construction is really starting to take shape here. On the left-hand side, you can see we're really pushing the interior tile finishes. This is one of the GA bathrooms that you see here on the left-hand side. And then also some things that you just don't see on the ground. And just to highlight a lot of the great detail and coordination of this building is on the right-hand side, those are louvers, mechanical louvers that are actually very well hidden and tied into the metal cladding. This is up at the very top of the building. So those are our construction updates. I went through that fairly quickly. If there are any questions, I'll pause, and if not, we'll turn it over to Adolfo.
One quick question, yeah.
You said those cables are 40 pounds per linear foot?
That is correct.
What is the total weight of the roof?
I'd have to get that for you because it's many miles of cable. So if I did that quick math, it's hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yeah, I don't think I realized it was that substantial
it's
part of the structure.
It's quite a feat of engineering, that is for sure.
Will we be invited to the cable raising?
I'm sure we can talk about that. That would be exciting. It'll be a free event, so. I know we've had a few for the past group, so I think we're working on one actually, aren't we? I'm looking over at Heather, and it's coming up, right?
Yes, yeah, we will certainly make that an opportunity available to you shortly. We'll work with Monica to figure that out. Let me take a step back just for a second and say welcome to all of the new members. We appreciate your service and your willingness to serve on this body, and we look forward to working with you. Relatedly, I guess in light of previous questions, I would also say that from an organization's perspective, we think you should all be commended to the extent that you are part of any other organizations and are serving in ways even beyond this sports authority body. And we think that from our perspective, at least, we will do everything in our power to ensure that there are no questions, no concerns of any sort with respect to the nature of those overlapping relationships. I also, in light of the fact that we have some new members, I thought it might be a good opportunity to sort of refresh on some of the points that are important about our participation in workforce efforts. At its inception, we viewed this project as more than the building of a stadium to play 10 football games a year. We viewed it as an opportunity for this entire community to come together, to create generational and transformative opportunities for families in this area, and to provide opportunities to both participate in and benefit from the project, not only for businesses in this area, local, small, diverse, and others, but also people through our workforce programs. The net outcome of that thought and that belief was the implementation, or at least the objective of a 25% target for participation by small, local, and diverse firms on this project. Some thought that was aggressive at the time. We thought it was absolutely doable. We knew that we would be able to work with the Business Assistance Office at Metro in order to try to work on that and to make it a reality. So we'll talk now about kind of where we are in that process, but I think it's important to know we are still on track, we are still committed, and we have every belief that we will meet or exceed that goal. So with that, you are seeing on the board now our current numbers, and I would only point out that if you were here in January or not here, but at the meeting in January, you would know that even since then, as an example, our women-owned payments have, the number of firms has increased by 13. For minority-owned businesses, that number has increased by 7. And for small businesses, it's increased by 3. And so that takes us, we've increased our total payments to date. And again, these are simply fully recognized, invoiced, and paid amounts. That now, since we're at 191,277,000, that number is up 30 million over January numbers. So we believe there's more detail about it, and I believe on pages 9 and 10 of tab 13, if you're interested, it breaks it down a little bit more by entity, contracting entity. But as I said, we are fully committed, and we are well on track, and hopefully these numbers help to demonstrate that. So with that, I'll turn it over to John to speak a little bit about the workforce side.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Gromos, principal in charge of the Tennessee Builders Alliance. TBA is a 4-party joint venture that has been awarded the construction of the project, so I'm very happy to serve in a leadership role. We've got a lot of great men and women who are putting a lot of tremendous work in, as Kellen had mentioned, so very proud of data, and what you're seeing here, especially for the new members, are the standard numbers or the data that I've been updating on a regular basis. We'll continue to provide updates and track the participation by Promise Zone, local, female, minority workforce. There's, almost 7,000 unique workers that have worked on, in some capacity on this project. That's an amazing number. Kellen mentioned we're a little over 2,000 workers on any given day. I think Tuesday was our peak at 2,078. We'll probably achieve 2,200 later this summer. So these numbers will continue to grow. You flip to the next one, Kellen. Oh, I'm sorry, to Adolfo. Hey, so wellness, last month there was, we focused a little bit more, we talk about safety data, our recordable incident rates. Maybe I'll start on the bottom. The safety incidents is this TRIR is total recordable incident rate. This is a construction industry standard that tracks, in essence, how safe your job site is. We've had a number of recordable injuries that have occurred on the job site, but when you prorate that across the number of hours that have been worked, the number of 0.65 is a good number. We're going to continue to improve it. I've mentioned before, our target is to get to 0.5 TRIR. A reminder for the existing board members and for the new board members, there's some national standards and state standards that we compare our performance against. The national standard is, I've seen two different numbers, it's between 1.6 and 1.7. And in the state of Tennessee, TOSHA tells us that that number is 1.9. So very much elevated from where our project is at 0.65. So we'll continue to focus on that. From a wellness check standpoint, there was some interest in what we're doing above and beyond taking care of the workers. We have a tremendous amount of information that if it's not in your tab, I think we provided last time, we can do it again. Heart Wellness Month was the month of February. We did over 1,200 proactive measures just to focus on the workers, not what they're doing on the job, but them as people and focusing on their health as much outside the job site as on the job site. And finally, we're proud of the sustainability performance of the project. There's a lot of data. We don't expect you to read the donut chart on the right, but our diversion rate is on target. We'll continue to see those numbers and track those numbers on a monthly basis.
So I think we should pause again, maybe if there are any questions. So I think we'll do that for a second.
We have a couple.
Yeah, I just want to say, congratulations on that increase within these past 60 days. And I think you all made it clear that, as we get into the interior of the facility, then more of those DBE firms are going to be able to set up shop. So I appreciate this trajectory.
Great, thank you.
Director Hogan.
I'd like to congratulate all of you on that TRIR number, and we talk about it every month, and it is remarkable that you're 3 times safer than other projects in the state. So thank you for paying close attention to that. I do have one question. I've never seen a recording of near misses. And John, I'm curious how you measure near misses.
Near misses is, we do try to track events that even if they don't result in somebody getting injured or something happening, a near miss is just that. It's a very broad category that says, hey, something happened, there was no impact, but something could have happened. We track those things because we learn from those incidents as much as we do from incidents where there is a worker who's hurt. So we track that. I think all construction companies track that. There's a tremendous amount of data and metrics and KPIs that track that. So I'm glad to dive into that a little bit more, shine a brighter light on that going forward. But the idea of a near miss is something happened. There wasn't a negative outcome, but we have to learn from it and do some additional training, maybe change our processes, do our launch meetings a little bit differently to avoid those in the future.
And that there is a little additional information in the narrative report at tab 13, if you're interested in following up. With that, I think we have one last item of business we wanted to bring to you, and that is a report on some of the capital expenses, and we'd ask Shannon Myers, our Chief Financial Officer, to be able to present to you a little bit on that point. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Adolfo. This will be very quick. As Adolfo said, I'm Shannon Myers, Chief Financial Officer for the Tennessee Titans. Since there's 4 new board members, we thought it would be helpful to do a quick overview of the current Nissan Stadium CapEx process, just to set the stage of where that is. So as tenants of the building, we're responsible to upkeep this building, the current Nissan Stadium, in safe and operable condition until we move into the new stadium. And the current lease reimburses the team for any costs that fall into one of 3 categories. So the Sports Authority would be reimbursing the team if there's a cost to ensure the building is in compliance with laws, cost to ensure the building is safe and reliable from a public health and safety perspective, and then costs related to NFL compliance, just to make sure that this building is complying with NFL rules and regulations, that we can still have football games in this building. And so each month, the team provides a memo and support to this board listing any anticipated, any ongoing, or any completed projects. Just as an FYI, no money is spent out of the board yet because the team is fronting all of those costs. And then once a quarter, we actually submit a reimbursement for any projects that have been completed that quarter. The Sports Authority hired CPS Solutions as an independent third party to review all of our support. So again, no money is coming back to us to reimburse us for any projects until CPS has seen all of the documentation. They've agreed it aligns with any of all of those 3 items that a capital expenditure could be reimbursed for. And we have a really great process that's been in place since August of 2023 when we signed the lease for the new stadium. So there's a dedicated funding source for current Nissan Stadium CapEx that is capped at $42 million. And to date, we've spent less than 10% of that. So just wanted to lay the land of that's how the current Nissan Stadium CapEx process works. So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions on that process. Okay. You do have a memo in your binder behind, it's probably tab 12, 13, 14. For this month, again, there's a couple items on there. All of them relate to those 3 buckets of costs that do count for reimbursement. The one I just wanted to highlight in there is I would say non-routine item for us because it doesn't happen very often, but the NFL has put in new regulations on cameras for this upcoming season for 2026 for all 32 teams. So there is a request in there. We're starting a project for pan, zoom, tilt cameras, PZT cameras. That is a requirement from the NFL. They're requiring all teams to have 9 standard cameras that the home team and the visiting team use. There is dedicated fiber ran to those cameras to make sure to protect against any integrity of the game issues. We've got backup from the NFL showing that that is a requirement. So again, all of that will be looked at by CPS Solutions, but just wanted to highlight that one. Thankfully, though, fortunate to us, those cameras can be moved to the new stadium. So we're trying to be diligent with any money that we invest in this stadium, and absolutely anything that we can move over to the new stadium, we can. So just wanted to highlight that and available for any other questions.
Shannon, we have one.
Yes, Kim.
On the camera expense, you reference, I see it's largest on the anticipated cost, and you just talked about the cameras versus the cabling.
Mm-hmm.
What is the percentage of what we can reuse?
Yep, I believe the
stadium?
cameras themselves, I had that because I thought you might ask a question about that. The cameras themselves are $315,000
Okay, so
of
that's
that.
the majority
So the
of it.
majority of that is the hardware that we can move over. There is clearly the installation and the, shipping. There's some things that are a little bit of sunk costs, but the bulk of that hardware can be moved over. Thank you. Yep. Any other questions? Okay, that concludes the Nissan Stadium report. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yep.
Are there any other questions for anybody with the Titans or with TBA? There being none, that concludes our agenda. So thank you very much to our board, to our staff, and to all of our presenters. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, April the 16th at Bridgestone Arena. The Finance Committee will meet at that time before the full board. Are there any final questions and or comments? Yes, Monica.
Thank you. This is really just a comment. I know that we went a little long today, but we thought it was really important for 2 reasons. Number one, you don't typically get the reports that you got today, and I think it's important to see what's going on even more broadly and how the Sports Authority is involved in the community. And then number 2, as you probably noticed, we wanted to provide a little more context for our new board members, and so hopefully that was helpful. We're going to have a full agenda next month, and so we'll be ready with, again, a meeting of the Finance Committee, and thank you all to the presenters and everyone here.
Thank you, Monica. Yes, thank you all who presented today for giving a little bit of extra context. I mean, we've all been new board members here, and it can be intimidating when you walk in and then they're just throwing everything at you all at once. So that was really helpful. Thank you, everybody, for taking a little bit of the extra time. With that, if there's no other final questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We're out of here. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.